No, stop. Hold the applause. Yes, I know I'm putting out another video already, which, is definitely unusual for me, but I'm gonna, again, make it an effort to, upload a lot more frequently. Um, because I have been having fun with it, but this isn't a theory video. This largely is just a response to the YouTuber, Not a Real Name, Not at All. I've been really, really trying to send my hot takes to her channel in the comments, and just for whatever reason, I appear to have severely offended the YouTube gods. So, in an effort to try and see if this is the only way I can do this, because apparently I'm able to upload videos just fine, I thought I would send her this video as my hot takes that I thought of a while ago, and I thought they were good enough to actually write down, so I have them here, and I'm going to read them out in this quick video. And I guess this has the added benefit of me reading it live. If there's anything in here, which I'm sure there will be, that, like, seems like it could use a little bit more elaboration, I can go into it. Um, or even so in the comments below, I'm sure, if it gets to that point. But without further ado, this is just going to be a quick-ish, hopefully, video reading out these hot takes. And I have a grand total of 3 of them. So, let's see here. Yep, I've got it pulled up. And let's go through here and read them one by one. Excuse me. Number 1. Something Matt Pratt. Blah. Something Matt Pat brought up a while ago on GT Live that I haven't been able to get out of my head since he said it was in regards to his most frustrating part of FNAF. Quote, the decision to pivot away from Burntrap/William towards the Mimic after security breach, but to keep the Tangle always frustrated me, unquote. Clearly, they doubled down on the Tangle by including it in Ruin for that half second in the stairwell and one of the endings of Security Breach. But to completely pivot away from Burntrap and hammer in the Mimic? Granted, with Scott's latest Dawko interview, I know it was more than likely just leftover mess from the lack of trust between Scott and Steelwool, and to his credit, in that interview he outright pointed this out and said he will make things much clearer, i.e. probably telling Steelwool the actual story, in Secret of the Mimic. I do have high hopes, and I guess Secret of the Mimic will show if this is the case or not, but just good grief. I have no idea how I would hammer the future lore out of that. That the Tangle was kept around, but Burntrap was swapped with the Mimic, and to explain in the lore why this is. Now, again, maybe this is going to be explained later, but this is just a massive, frustrating part of FNAF for me right now. And I don't think that's that big of a hot take, but I do think this is a pretty big fumble. Number 2, and this number 2 might get me some flack. And I'm hopefully I wrote this well enough to ease into it. um, so here we go. I touched on this in my first theory video you saw, but like a lot of things early in the timeline, when you look at them closely, William's later characterization after his first murder is so unrealistic compared to a man in his situation pre-murder. Hey, think about it. A man with a passion for making the lives of children filled with happy memories at a pizza chain. If Afton was always a monster, Why would he make any effort in improving anyone's lives, let alone children? With his skill in business and robotics, even before he met Henry, assuming the GT timeline is correct, why not work in the defense industry if it was just money or acclaim he wanted? Or even think about his personal life at that early point in the story. He was not a monster enough to not only get married and have multiple children, but partner with a man similar to him, of likely equal if not greater intellect, and share a goal with him of making a pizza chain with the latest animatronics, again, for children. It's not that it just says a lot about William's character pre-murder. Yeah, but if most people in the fandom are right, and he was always a monster, how did nobody in his life not see a monster of that magnitude that close to him? Was Henry, William's life, who possibly might have been named Clara, Michael, and every business partner or affiliate, were they all just morons? Monsters of that caliber are doing things like, to be frank, bedwetting into their teens, or doing awful things to animals at a young age. I said it in my original theory, and while I was wrong about the mimic, I still stand by this. William wasn't always pure evil, which is my hot take. And I did word that very carefully. William wasn't always evil. He probably wasn't always bad either. But after the death of Dave, he was a broken man who would give or do anything to have his son back. And if anyone disagrees, I would just ask, why was William promising to put Dave back together at his deathbed if he didn't care? Why did he start the remnant experiments in the first place? Was it because he was immediately thinking of his own personal immortality? Or was he trying to save Dave, at least for a while? Now, obviously, this isn't to say William doesn't still kill Charlie after that point and lose the plot from saving Dave to saving himself once he likely realized he can't separate Dave from Cassidy. And I forget where I've heard that. I want to say somewhere in the books, but I feel like I've heard somewhere that it was made clear, to William at least, that he can't separate the two. And that's why it's seemingly he just stopped paying attention to trying to get Dave back. But in a cruel sense of irony, even still, he did find a sort of immortality. Like, the sheer irony of discovering that, only to realize you can't use it on your dead son. I guess at that point he just said, I might as well use it myself, I suppose, but my point being, he does still become a monster, but just as I pointed out in my theory, he wasn't born evil. He chose evil, which, if anything, makes his actions worse in my opinion, but as William absolutely knows by Ultimate Custom Night, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. And number 3. This one I'm really curious to hear what the reaction is about, but they need to do something with Old Man Consequences if they're going to keep bringing him back, or they need to drop him. The, mysterious character thing works as a hook, not the meat and potatoes of a character trait. Why does he appear as an alligator monster thing while giving genuinely good advice in his first appearance by the lake in FNAF World? And on top of that, why do his motives seem less and less clear as time goes on through the Pizzaplex era? Like, we saw that most recently at the end of Ruin, right? Like, it is a good trade. Like, I just, like, and through the, like, I get the whole Pizzaplex era, it's just so hard to pin down, like, what are his motivations? Like, why? Why is he doing any of this? What does he have the power to or not to do? Like, this is why the character is so frustrating. It's something so vague to the point you can't really build anything on it. It's a foundation of sand. There we go. My hot take is they either need to really clarify him and or at least like build some really solid foundations, or they need to drop him because it's getting a little annoying. But yes, these are my hot takes. This is a very rough and raw uh, video, I'm sure, and I'm probably just gonna laze clobbering this together, but hopefully this works. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments. But thank you very much.